Are you pulling your child out of public school because writing or math just isn't working? You're not alone. Many parents deal with this. Often the issue isn't effort. It's that kids are often asked to show what they know before their brain or body is ready. Raising neurodivergent kids is messy, beautiful, and a lot. I'm Mary Ellen Yates, and this is Growing Together, Neurodiversity at Home. Let's figure it out together. Okay, let's get started. In this video, I'm going to share some of my favorite writing and math supplies to help you get started on your homeschooling journey. These are not magic fixes, and likely you will not need all of these. But think of them as friction reducers, tools that help your kids show what they know without fighting their body first. These supports help kids with ADHD, autism, dyslexia, dysgraphia, and other learning differences. Okay, let's talk about writing supports. Writing does not have to start on paper. Whiteboards, chalkboards, and dry erase sleeves can help take away the fear of making mistakes and are often easier on their hands, which means they're hopefully more likely to engage. We use these for handwriting, for spelling, sentence building, and brainstorming. My kids have their own whiteboard, also a book bag for when we do homeschool on the go as well. So if writing is a battle, start here. There's nothing saying that they have to write on paper and use pencil for it to count. But when you do decide to use paper and pen or pencil, writing tools do matter more than some people realize. Smoothness and grip can completely change how the writing experience feels. I have not personally been diagnosed with any learning differences, and even I can't stand friction when I'm writing. So for kids with these diagnoses, I can't imagine how much more uncomfortable and difficult it is for them. Some things that can help are those short triangular pencils. Those are great for new learners and also those that need grip support. Mechanical pencils like Bic, they're smooth, they're consistent, and you need a lot less pressure to write with them. Personally, the Bic mechanical pencils have been my favorite since I was a kid. Though I do need to mention, if you have little ones like me, I have a 1-year-old that really loves getting into the pencils and pulling out all of the erasers. So be aware of that if you have the really little kiddos. Also, a really good ballpoint pen that doesn't drag and gel pens are really great. They have an easier glide for kids who fatigue easy or press hard. And with gel pens, you can find them in a lot of fun colors, even some glitter options, and then it makes them more fun to write with in general and more likely to be used. So win-win. There's no right pencil or pen. You need to find what works for your kiddo. Goal is going to be comfort and control. So another tool that goes along with your pencils or pens is a pencil grip. For my two oldest, their pencil grip was a challenge that we dealt with for years, and they used pencil grips for years. They are finally at the point that they don't need a pencil grip, but we tried a variety pack and tried a lot of different ones to see what would fit. There were a few options that worked, that they liked. My favorite for them was the Arc brand pencil grip. It's like a ball on the pencil, and it helped relax their hands and open up their fingers more to get them in a good position. But again, for pencil grips, there's two things you need to be aware of. There are 3 types of pencil grips that occupational therapists approve of that allow your hands not to fatigue as much and to have control when you're writing. And so with there being 3 different types of grips, different grips might work for different kids. And so trying them out and troubleshooting is the best solution to find what works for your kiddo, because everyone's going to be different. Paper can also be a great tool for our kiddos. Kids that are struggling with writing, they may also be struggling with how to space their letters, keeping them an even size and all these things. And so certain papers with lines will be helpful to them. Usually primary composition paper that has the 2 main lines and a dotted line in the middle, or the double lined paper that is recommended by Handwriting Without Tears. Both of those are great for helping your kids keep uniform formation when they're writing. Another thing to keep in mind is the notebook themselves. The ones that have the seam sewn in, those often lay flatter. And so my kiddos really like the ones that lay flat. This is good for right-handed and left-handed kids. And then also it stays flat on both sides. So I notice my kids will use both sides of the paper. Often the books that kind of stand up more on one side, they tend to not to like to write on the back of the paper. So we go through the notebooks faster because they don't like the way that feels and it takes more work for them to hold it down. So if you can get a notebook that lays more flat, that will solve that problem as well. And then another subject that is often a struggle for kiddos is math. And so I just wanted to briefly suggest a couple of supports. There are many things out there that can help depending on what your kid's individual need is. But a good starting point would be, again, those dry erase boards work well in math. We use them in math all the time as well. Or we use those reusable sleeves a lot when we're playing math games, so then we can write on it and then erase. For kids that need a lot of practice and have a hard time with math facts, I really like the Think Tank Scholar flashcards. Now, you can find tons of flashcards online, but I like these because they're very durable. They're in a box with a couple of tabs in them that help you keep them organized and keep track of what you're working on with your kid. I like flashcards for a couple of reasons. One, you can do it orally and it's encouraging your kids to do mental math. And also it reduces the amount of writing they have to do, which writing is important too to make it multisensory. But often our kids balk at the writing. And so if we can practice without needing the writing, that can help them a lot too. And then it's a good way to just keep up that fluency and keep reviewing those facts that are hard for those new learners and those kids with learning struggles. Some manipulatives that I really like, the Math You See manipulatives. They are on the pricier side though, but if you would like to start with something that's more inexpensive, you can find a lot of math manipulatives on Amazon, ones that have unit pieces so that you can count up to 10, and then you have the sticks that have 10 on them, and then 100 blocks, and then you could go up to 1,000 blocks too. So those are nice. And then also some of them come with the place value cards or charts that you can place these blocks in. A lot of kiddos struggle with place value when they're a new learner, and for those that have documented struggles, the place value is a tricky subject, and so having those mats for those blocks helps a lot. And to keep it visual as long as you need until they get the concept. And then also those little coin counters are very helpful too. If you get the ones with the metal ring around them and then you get the wand that often comes with them, you can easily clean them up, and the kids usually enjoy doing that, and then it's quick. But we use those a lot for when we're playing math games, but you can also just use it in regular counting for those new learners. And there's a lot of uses for them. I've used them for multiple grades with my different kids. And then the last tool that I would like to recommend is a visual timer. And this can be used across your whole homeschool day and into your personal life as well. Visual timers are great in homeschool because a lot of these kids, they need things in bite-sized pieces. And if we just say, finish this, it often feels really overwhelming. So if we put on a timer and they can see the amount of time they have, we say, work as hard as you can until this timer goes off, and then you are done. And that helps kids make it more bite-sized, more approachable, and then you can build that time as they tolerate it. And so that is a huge tool that we use a lot in our homeschool. It helps give them the motivation to do hard things because they know it's just going to be temporary. I hope these suggestions have been helpful. And remember, you're likely not going to need all of these supports. It just depends on what your individual kid needs. Start with the biggest struggle and then add supports as needed. The goal isn't recreating public school. It's making learning feel possible again. This isn't a quick process. This is a journey, and it will take time. Even after 8 years of homeschooling my kids, I still tweak things every school year and throughout the year. So remember to give yourself and your child some grace. Plan to be troubleshooting and figuring it out together. For your convenience, I've linked in the description some of the products that we like to use. And if you're in this transition right now, I know this is a big transition for both of you. And so if you have questions, please feel free to ask them in the comments. And good luck, you've got this. I'm Mary Ellen Yates, and this is Growing Together, Neurodiversity at Home.